Hey, honey,
Yes, Barry?
let's get out of here.
Where are we going?
Where do we always go?
Fascina el viento, este ritmo de palmas, sin naturaleza, hasta encontrar la playa. Por eso grito al mundo, yo soy de Puerto Vallarta. Samba de Puerto Vallarta, noche de arrullo en el mar. Samba de Puerto Vallarta.
Hello, fellow travelers, and welcome to this episode of the Puerto Vallarta Travel Show. I'm your host, Barry Kessler, and I am just so happy to be introducing to you my favorite vacation destination. Hey, maybe it's even yours, and that's Puerto Vallarta, Mexico. The music you're listening to is performed by Alberto Perez, and Alberto is the owner of the Lapa Lapa group of restaurants. Those are the Lapa Lapa, Puerto Vallarta's oldest restaurant on the famous Los Muertos Beach, and the El Dorado Restaurant and Beach Club right next door. So you can enjoy that fantastic view of the Los Muertos Pier, all lit up at night in beautiful colors, or during the day in its grand splendor for breakfast, lunch, or dinner, seated with your toes in the sand right at the water's edge. It's so romantic. It's so Puerto Vallarta, my friends. This week we are going to go back just a month, May of 2021, and we had a meet and greet over at JR's new meet and greet venue, the one that he goes to every Tuesday afternoon. It is now over at Nacho Daddy, over in the romantic zone of Puerto Vallarta. We had a bunch of you great guys over there. We had guests from all over the place. We'll bring that to you shortly. They've got some suggestions about everything Puerto Vallarta, as you know. But before we go to that meet and greet, let's see what's happening this week in Puerto Vallarta, the 14th day of June, 2021. Well, last time we spoke, it was Election Day. In fact, the mayoral and national elections were held in Mexico on the 6th of June, and the results are in. The new mayor of Puerto Vallarta has been elected, and here is an article from Vallarta Reporter Online. It reads, primary results for the next Puerto Vallarta mayor, Morena's Luis Michel Rodriguez. District Council 5 of the Electoral and Citizen Participation Institute. Officials have published the preliminary results of Sunday, June 6th elections in Puerto Vallarta for the mayor, confirming the victory of Morena's candidate, Luis Michel Rodriguez, with 25,780 votes. The second place went to Lupita Guerrero of the Citizen Movement, with 22,552 votes. That was pretty close. Third place went to Luis Munguia of the Green Party with 20,531 votes. Fourth place went to Marina de los Santos from the Hagamos Party with 2,551 votes, and so on. So it looks like congratulations are indeed welcome to welcome the new mayor of Puerto Vallarta, Luis Michel Rodriguez. You can read that article, by the way. If you want to go out and spend some money and, find out what is on the Vallarta Reporter. That's right. I have a link so that you can subscribe if you want to do so, or if not, just listen to my podcasts. The U.S. government and State Department have lowered their travel alert for Mexico. This also from the Puerto Vallarta Reporter. It says here that the government's alert was at level 4, the maximum, but it was updated yesterday and lowered to level 3. The alert reminds travelers that the U.S. Centers for Disease Control and Prevention, the CDC, maintains alert level 4 for trips to Mexico due to the coronavirus. The U.S. State Department asks to reconsider traveling to Mexico due to COVID-19 and also calls for exercising increasing caution when traveling to Mexico due to crime and kidnappings. The risk is higher in some areas, it warns. The State Department asks that people not travel to the following states. Let's see here. Colima for crime, Guerrero for crime, Michoacan for crime, Sinaloa, and Tamaulipas for crime and kidnappings. It asks people to reconsider traveling to the following areas due to crime: Chihuahua, Coahuila, Durango, Jalisco, Mexico State, Morelos, Nayarit, Nuevo Leon, and San Luis Potosí. Are there any other states that haven't been? Never mind. Anyway, if you want to read this article, you can also find it in the Vallarta Reporter. And again, I have a link where you can subscribe. Canada changed their rules again. This has to do with the COVID Motel 19 rules. If you've had the jab, they now say that you do not need to stay in the COVID-19 motel. How about that? This is from Skyscanner Canada. COVID-19 travel news. It was announced on Wednesday that starting next month, fully vaccinated travelers currently allowed to enter Canada will be able to skip the required hotel stopover and 14-day quarantine. Canada is scheduled to receive millions more COVID-19 vaccine doses from the United States because we're swimming in the stuff. In the coming weeks, it says here, some travel restrictions in Ontario and other provinces are being lifted this month as provinces submit their reopening plans. Air Transat announced that it will begin to gradually resume flight operations starting July 30th, 2021. Air Canada flights to India are set to resume on June 20th, 2021. WestJet is returning some domestic and international flight routes starting this month. Services to Atlantic Canada and parts of Western Canada will be available, including international flights to Mexico and the Caribbean and the United Kingdom. So it seems like things are loosening up a bit for you Canadians out there who want to travel to paradise. And I have a link to this particular article from Skyscanner Canada in the show notes. Last week I told you about a new smoking ban, some new smoking ordinance regarding, lighting up and smoking your cigarette in front of an establishment. There was a crackdown on bars that were allowing their patrons to smoke outside on the sidewalk and at the sidewalk tables. And I followed up this week. I asked my friend Johnny D. If you remember Johnny D from Canada, he's the guy who makes hot pickles and retired here in Puerto Vallarta. Anyway, I asked him about the current situation because she does every once in a while smoke a cigarette. And here's what he said. He said, some bars are totally ignoring the new rules. Some bars have never been told that there is no smoking. Por favor is back to smoking outside, it says, and Que Pasa, there is no smoking, he says. Yet you can stand in front of Por favor or any bar and smoke as long as you have no drink in your hand. And so that's what Johnny says. It sounds like it's a little bit, arbitrary. Like, I don't know. We'll find out. Film at 11. Now, speaking of smoke and smoking, I thought that I'd pass on this piece of useful information to any of you who do participate in the hippie lettuce. If you are planning on taking any boating excursion out of the port in Puerto Vallarta and into the bay, like the pirate ship or a pleasure cruise to Yalapa or something like that, don't bring any weed with you. The federal authorities just might search you and either turn you away or maybe even worse, arrest you for having weed on you. Now, I've had two people actually now tell me about their experiences. One of them was actually arrested. You know this person. I won't tell you who he is. But anyway, he was arrested and he had to be bailed out. And the other was, he was just a little bit too loose with his lips when he was talking to a friend as they were getting ready to board the pirate ship. And he mentioned to someone that he had some spleef with him. And there was a federal officer who happened to overhear the conversation. And he kind of pulled him aside. He gave him an option. He says, you can come back maybe tomorrow if you'd like, but you cannot get on the boat. And anyway, the first one, the one that went to jail, he looked a little suspicious, a little rough around the edges, and so the guy that was checking people in asked if he could see his pack of cigarettes, and inside there were a couple of rolled joints, and then they proceeded to arrest him and they took him to jail. And of course, on the way to jail, the arresting officer looked at my friend and he said, this would be much better if we didn't have to arrest you. There's just way too much paperwork. Why did you hide that stuff in your cigarette pack? That's the worst place to hide your pot. Okay, so just remember that. He says, next time, why don't you just hold the joints in your hand? Just keep it closed or something like that. Anyway, our friend, the arrested cruiser, was bailed out by his friends. And, but that whole day was a total loss for everybody that showed up to take the fun ride. Anyway, let that be a lesson to you, everybody. The port is federal property, and you should avoid carrying the nasty weed. Okay? All right, just a little warning for all of you guys. I got this lovely email from Alan from Canada, and Alan writes, Barry, I love your podcasts. I am in the process of catching up on many or all of your past editions before I started listening regularly in 2020. Thanks so much for all the time that you invest in producing such high-quality podcasts for your listeners and for the benefit of all of the wonderful merchants and the people of Puerto Vallarta. So far, I have not been successful in finding your show notes. Could you please send me some instructions or a link on how I get there? For example, I was trying to find some specific information that was not in the overall blog recap, but will be in the show notes, maybe, for Gil Gevins for that interview back in 2018. Thank you once again, Barry, for all you do. Alan. Okay, well, thank you. Thank you, Alan. Anyway, to find my blog posts, of course, if you don't know this, Alan knows. You go to my website, you go to www.puertovallartatravelshow.com, and then you go to the menu. You find a tab that says blog posts and podcasts, and you click on that one. And once you click on that, you're going to find the most recent 10 podcasts and blog posts. And you can search clear back to the very first episode that I did in December of 2016. And at the bottom of each one of these blog posts, at the bottom of the page, there is a search box where you can type in a keyword, and then you hit the search, and the podcast episodes and the blog posts that correlate with that search term will come up. It's a pretty good tool. Now, my blog posts are actually my show notes, okay? So, along with most of the posts, I usually include links to restaurants, places that guests and interviewees mention during the interview. And I've done this a lot, but lately I've been a little remiss at linking and making some of these lists in the show notes. I do have the information, but I need to do a little bit of catch up. I need to get back there and get into some of the more recent blog posts and just catch up on those links. So I will eventually catch up on that. But Alan, this was back in 2018. So if you need some information about that interview that I had with Gil, and you can't find it in my blog posts, which are my show notes, go ahead and send me an email, and maybe I have the answer for you. But yeah, like I've been saying, the show notes are my blog posts. So there you have it. Now, I wanted to talk to you a little bit about the best ways to listen to the podcasts and about some changes that are happening in the podcast world. These are changes that include things like deplatforming and certain episodes that are being taken down by some of the big boys. It's going to take longer than today to talk a little bit about that. So I'm going to talk about deplatforming a little bit later. But just remember that if my podcast should ever disappear from your podcast app, you can always find my podcast, because I own my podcast, at my website over at www.puertovallartatravelshow.com. And you can always get the best audio quality when you download the audio directly from my blog posts on my website. Or if you go to my media host, which is Libsyn.com, you would go to puertovallartatravelshow.libsyn.com. That's where you're going to find the audio file that I actually upload myself, and that's going to be the best quality. Now, some of these podcast apps out there, and I've heard some of them add their own ads to my podcast, and I don't make any money on that. Okay, they're making money on that. They also do things like they make copies. Compressed copies of my MP3 file, which makes listening to that particular file bad. I mean, the file, it's just unlistenable as far as I'm concerned. So if you want the best audio without somebody putting ads in, then you want to download the audio from my website or from my media host. You can do it through iTunes as long as they don't deplatform me. You can always get good audio from your iTunes application. Now, anyway, I have links in my show notes, and also next week I will talk about what's going on in the podcast space. But again, if I happen to disappear from your podcast app for some reason or another, you know where to find me, okay? All right, so thank you, Alan. Thank you for the email, and I hope that helps. Let me know if you need some help finding something in paradise. I can help you, my friend. All right, let's get to our meet and greet. Shall we? Whenever I come to town, I try my very best to plan at least one meet and greet with JR at his Tuesday meet and greet that he's been doing for years now over at Kelly's Por Favor Saloon and Cookhouse. But this year, JR chose to make a little bit of a change, and he moved his meet and greet place to Nacho Daddy over on Basilio Badillo. The meet and greet that you're about ready to hear, that you were about ready to listen to, was recorded about a month ago, as I said earlier. It was on May 11th, 2021, and I was just thrilled to see so many of our friends right in paradise. Almost all the people that you're going to hear right now have actually been on the show before, either as guests, well, all of them as guests. You've heard almost every one of them. And, of course, while we were all there, I pumped them for their most up-to-date suggestions and their observations regarding our beautiful Puerto Vallarta. And I will do my best, Alan, to link all of the suggestions that they give that you're about to hear in the show notes. Anyway, by this time you know where to find them, of course, www.puertovallartatravelshow.com. Go to the blog post link there, page, I should say, and click on it in the menu. And so let's go right now to Basilio Badillo, 287 in the Emiliano Zapata neighborhood of Puerto Vallarta. Let's meet the gang over at our May meet and greet at Nacho Daddy in Puerto Vallarta, Mexico. So here we are. We're at the meet and greet over at Nacho Daddy here in Puerto Vallarta, Mexico. I've got some listeners here. I got some guests. I love it when that happens. I got Chris and I got Gilbert here.
Hey.
Gilbert, where are you from?
Denver, Colorado.
All right. And Chris?
Yep, I'm from Denver too.
Denver too. All right. Excellent. So tell us a little bit about, have you guys been to Puerto Vallarta before?
Yeah. I've been to Puerto Vallarta for at least the past 20 years, and we've been coming back and forth. I love it. I've always loved this place. It's always my my getaway, and I've been, since this COVID-19 thing hit, I wanted to come back even more. So here we are, making up for some lost time.
Right. So this is your first time since the pandemic
Yeah,
began?
at least a year and a half. Absolutely.
Wow. Yeah. All right. Well, good. Chris?
We love coming here. We come here at least twice a year. It's always a great place to visit. We've met a few people. We have lots of friends here. Every time we go to the bars, everybody remembers us, gives us a big hug, and it's just a lovely place to be.
Yeah.
It's like a big cheers.
Right. Right. Exactly. You walk in and it's like you never left.
They all know your name.
That's pretty incredible. Now, when you first came here, where'd you stay?
Where was that? I think it was a hotel further up by the marina area. I don't think it's there anymore because I couldn't tell you the name of it.
Okay,
but it was a nice place.
Yeah, but probably got hit by a wrecking ball sometime along the way, and something bigger and better happened. So, all right. And then, where are you staying now? What kind of places are you staying at now?
We're staying at this really great Airbnb just around the corner from this place.
Yeah.
And it's just awesome. Love it.
All right, tell us. Come on. Tell us about the place.
Well, it's called the, can I say the name of it?
Yeah, of course.
It's called the Zenith, and it's an Airbnb that we're staying in there that we found. It's just your typical one bedroom, very well designed, great air conditioner.
I love that. Yeah.
Great balconies, and it's just the location. You just can't beat the location. You can just look out the balcony and say, you know what, I'm going to eat there today.
Yeah. Wow.
And it's right behind this place, so it worked out really well.
And you're staying way up there.
You mean in terms of
in the Zenith? How many floors up are you?
Not tall at all. I think it's like the third floor.
Oh, all right.
Yeah, but it's great.
But you get up on the roof. They got a pool like everybody else does.
They have an awesome pool. And they got these great trees, like these big giant planters in the middle of the pool with palm trees coming out.
Oh,
it's
wow.
great.
Oh.
So we have a confession. We're staying 2 weeks this time, and the first week we decided to stay at an all-inclusive.
Yeah.
And after a few days, we were just totally sick of it, sick of the food, didn't want to be there anymore, and really wanted to make our way down back to the Zona Romantica.
We couldn't wait to get back.
Did you want to share with us which all-inclusive that was?
Well, I don't. But I will say it is an adults only, a little north of here.
South.
Or south of here.
You're south, adults only. Okay, I think I know that one.
But it was really nice. But it's one of those, what I think is that all these people had cabin fever and were making up for lost time and were partying really hard.
Oh, really? Was there like sex going on everywhere too? Because I heard that we're going to have big orgies and stuff like that after this is all done.
I wouldn't be surprised. It was wild.
Wow. All right. So you backed out. You decided.
I did. We did. Yeah.
Yes, yeah. All right. So and it was no problem finding that Airbnb for an extra couple of days, right? Just because,
Well, we planned it out that way, a week there and a week down here.
Yeah.
Yeah, we did a mix of two, and we definitely are going to be doing the Airbnb way from now on. For sure.
I'd say. Well, you're a listener of the show. That's the way to go.
You always said it, and about halfway through the week, we're like, "Yep, he's right. Don't stay at an all-inclusive." Okay.
That just cements our thought.
Yeah, well, that's cool. All right, so you've been coming here for years and years and years. So you're going to have to share with me because you know the bonus round. You know what we talk about. We talk about food. So you got to share with me like your favorite places to eat lunch. Breakfast, lunch, and dinner. You got a favorite?
Well, the one that pops right into my mind is Marisco Cisneros, my all-time favorite. That is like a go-to every single time. I make sure I never miss that place.
Yeah.
And
do you sit inside or do you sit at the cart?
During the day, usually we're outdoors.
Okay.
But in the evening, we'll try to get in there. Tiny little place, but it's just awesome.
So what do you order when you order?
Oh my God. I always try to order
there.
Well, I always try to order what's on that chalkboard, and it's always something different, and it's very, very good.
Excellent. Yeah.
I always tell everybody that the shrimp here tastes like lobster.
Yes.
It's just so good.
Yes.
It's got a little bit of... It's not the same as the lobster we buy back home in the U.S., but it's a little bit of sweet almost.
Yeah.
Like crab or lobster would be.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
And they don't have real lobster here anyway, but shh, don't tell anybody.
Oh, really?
All right, what about lunch?
You go ahead.
Oh, man, I don't know.
Cuates y Cuetes is a big favorite of mine.
Cuates y Cuetes,
Cuates y
yes.
Cuetes, yeah.
That's absolute favorite place.
Well, they got the music, they got the ocean.
It's all there.
Yeah. Wow.
The pier, you can stay there. It's such a great place to go, and the people that work there are fabulous. The staff is amazing, and we get just amazing service all the time.
Yeah. Yeah. All right. Well, that's a great. Do you have a favorite dish over at CNC's?
I think they've got like this shrimp with a lot of cheese and is it
I'm not
queso
sure what it's-
fundido?
Is it like a fondue?
Yeah,
Yeah.
the shrimp
Yeah,
fondue,
it's really
something
good.
like that. It's
Yeah, they're
it's so
great.
good.
I have to
Again-
try that. I see it, but I've never,
Absolutely.
gone for it. I have to. I guess I, got to worry about the cholesterol or something like that. No, no, we're on vacation.
Absolutely.
Well, how about dinner?
Ooh, dinner.
And you can give me a couple if you want, because
Well-
What's that? Agregre?
Andriago, I think it's called.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, I really like that place.
yeah,
we
it's a little bit north of here.
a little
right?
bit north of here. It's across the street. I remember from a Senior Frogs. I remember seeing that. Yeah, but I really like that place as well. So we're always hoping to find some new place every time we come.
Right.
Hopefully this time we'll find something just as good or better.
It seems like you can walk down just about any street and find a little restaurant kind of tucked in with some tables set up, and you got to be adventurous, try out new things, and we've never really been disappointed with any meal that we've had here.
No, we really haven't.
Yeah.
So you can have a good
Yeah.
time.
Well, you guys are much better than me. I've been disappointed.
Maybe we're just easily
well,
impressed. One of the big things that I think is great about Puerto Vallarta is all the live cabarets and talent and live
Absolutely,
shows that you
yes.
can see.
now you guys are getting ready to go off to Act 2 after we
Correct.
talk here. So
Yeah.
what are you going to see?
I forgot the artist's name, but she's doing a cover for
Linda
Linda
Ronstadt.
Ronstadt.
Ah, okay.
And last night we saw someone doing the Warwick and Whitney show, which was just phenomenal.
So all right.
great.
So how much is a ticket?
I think between what was it, like 30?
$30.
Yeah.
And we got front row tickets. It's
Yeah,
kind of
the-
a low season now, but they're very reasonable. And it's a very nice theater. It's air conditioned, and it's a fun place to be for the night. And you can order drinks, and they bring them right up to the seat, and even during the show,
Yeah.
you won't go
Very-
thirsty for sure.
Very nice people working there, and they really work their butts off on that show for you.
Yeah.
They really
put on
do.
a good show.
There's
Really
also
do.
a couple other great theaters in town, like the Palm Theater up on Olas Altas and Encanto. If you want to go out just about every night of the week, you can find some really great live entertainment and such. And all that has been closed down in the U.S., and it's just great to have it back.
Isn't it amazing to walk into a place and they're playing like live music?
Yeah.
Come on, what the hell's going on here?
Absolutely. And speaking of the Palms, we went to go see Freddie Mercury, that show.
I heard about
was
that show.
really good.
Now,
Yeah.
who is it? I know that there's just one guy that does the Freddie Mercury show, right?
Right.
Yes.
Right.
Roy something, I think is his name. Okay. All right. Well, I'm glad that you said that. I get very few people start talking about the theater around here, and I'm very happy that you guys partake in that and that you're actually, recommending it to my listeners.
Yeah, hook us up.
Hint, 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 hint. All right, excellent. All right. If you have a word of advice for a first-time visitor to Puerto Vallarta, you want to start, Gilbert? What would it be?
Advice: just walk everywhere. It's so safe here. You can do anything you want. You can everywhere you go. You're going to be welcomed. The people are great. Food's great. It's just a great environment. Originally we were looking to buy something here, but then we got deterred away from that. But we'll probably look at that again.
We're still thinking about it.
Still thinking about it.
We got a few years
I
to
just
go
love the energy
till we get
here.
there.
It's just wonderful.
All right. Chris, you got anything to add to that?
I would definitely remind everybody, don't stay at an all-inclusive, or if you do, only stay for a few days. One thing I'll say is those people that work at the all-inclusive, a lot of people don't remember that they work for tips just like everybody else.
Absolutely.
The tips aren't all included, so you got to tip those guys out. When we stayed at our all-inclusive, we had some of the best service we've ever had. They were absolutely amazing people, and just about everybody that works here is on tips, and
Remember
that's
to
how
tip
they
here.
make their living. So you got to tip out these people well because they do such a good job, and the whole service industry is kind of based on tips out here.
It is, and they're hurting so badly right now.
Yes,
So
yes.
that's another great thing for you to point out to everybody. Tip, 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 right? How about words of warning? Any words of warning for anybody?
Walk quickly through the shark tank at the airport.
Yeah.
What I do is I pull my phone out right before I'm ready to walk through there, like I'm talking, calling for a cab, and just look straight for the door. And Just yeah.
That's a great
Put
tip.
on some headphones and some sunglasses and
Yeah.
pretend like you don't hear anybody.
right.
But yeah, don't
Yeah.
stop. My advice would be bring some sunblock with you because it's expensive down here and you'll need a little bit more than you think.
Oh, okay.
Especially if you're at the beach or the pool
Yeah.
all days because
Yeah,
the
that's
sun
very-
hits pretty hard.
That's very good. Now, when you guys fly down here from Denver, what's your airline? What do you take?
Southwest.
Yeah,
Yeah.
So that's the one.
Southwest.
You take it all the time.
All the
Pretty
time.
much, yeah.
We've got direct flights. Prices are great, and we can usually find a good deal.
Okay, so all you guys up in the Denver area, come on down, find the Southwest Airlines and book today. Is there anything you wanted to add? Is there something that I've forgotten to talk about, or maybe ask
So
you
I
about?
think we covered a lot already. I don't know. Just you can think of anything.
I'm sure I'll think of a million things when I
I'm
walk
sure I
away.
will too.
Yeah, get out of your hotel rooms.
I'd like to say that Puerto Vallarta has such a vibrant gay community down here. There's so many bars and lots of places for everybody to come check out, and it's very safe. It's a safe place to be for the LGBT community, and definitely you got to come visit.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah,
I mean, it's paradise, isn't it, guys?
it is.
Gilbert and Chris, I want to thank you both for coming on and coming to the meet and greet. Don't let me forget to take your pictures because you're going to be on the album cover
Ooh,
there.
all
So
right.
you got to make sure that you leave me your photos here. And once again, I want to thank you for sharing your wisdom and sharing it all with our listeners. I truly appreciate it.
Thank you. This was a little surprise for us. We didn't know we were going to get interviewed.
Oh well, I rope
That's
everybody
awesome.
in that could
Thank
hear
you.
me with the microphone cord. You got it. Thanks, guys.
Awesome.
That's
Thank
all
you.
right.
And look who we have here. We have Ray and Sherry. And look at I'm so happy that you guys are in town. How you guys doing?
Good. We're happy to be back.
Just really, really lucky to be back. Thanks, Barry.
Yeah. So have you been back since the pandemic? You've been back since the
Yes,
pandemic.
we were
haven't you?
here in October of 2020 and then back in the end of February into early March.
Okay. All right. Good. So you went in. You went in early. You went in early and big.
As soon as
the
they
way
let
to do
us.
it. Yeah, that's right, and that's important. So, now I've been watching your Facebook posts, Ray, and Sherry's Facebook posts because she's probably the one taking the pictures. And you've been to some pretty cool new places. So I wanted to kind of like touch base with you, see what's new, what's happening. You guys, you know the bar scene too, so maybe you can kind of help us out a little bit.
What we really decided on this trip is that we really want to hit some more rooftop bars, and there's been a lot of great places that have been opening up now in Puerto Vallarta. Kind of brings us back to Cuba. So we always love Puerto Vallarta, but the second place we always like to go is Cuba. So since we can't go there now, we're here.
Yeah. All right. So where have you been?
One place we found was Bon Bon, which was amazing with their drinks and just taking nothing and making something out of it as far as the building and that. Just remarkable
They
drinks.
did a great job. The
Yeah.
drinks were great. The place was great. The service was wonderful. I mean, they really put it over the top for us, and we really enjoyed it.
Right. Okay. So where is Bon Bon?
Old Town. I mean, actually not Old Town, but I guess Gringo Gulch over across the river, over by Cafe Roma.
Okay.
In that area.
They got. Tell us about the place. What's it like inside?
It's the second floor. You come in the first floor, you walk in, they do their temperature check and all that stuff. Like they bring you up, and then everything they serve. They're pretty prolific on Facebook. I go over and take a look at what they have. They have different specials every night. We went there on a Thursday night where everything was 100 pesos, and it was nothing like we've had before. I mean, I've had a lot of different types of cocktails, but they really are starting to push the limits on some of the stuff, and they're also using a machine to go over and smoke the drinks and stuff like that with glass over the top, and the presentation was also
Right.
very fancy.
They give you a drink as you're walking through the door, and you walk you up the stairs.
Oh wow!
So I don't know what it was, but it was tasty.
Wow, that's a hell of a welcome. That's
Yes.
nice. I
Yes.
gotta love that. All right, so it's an upstairs place. It's open air. Is there any kind of a view, or you got a view of the river?
The
or-
buildings.
Okay, all right.
Yeah,
Rooftops.
it's very, very much that feel of being in the city, but not any way in a bad way. They do everything they possibly can. Plants, everything else. There were some other patrons there that go there because they live in that area. I mean, they were literally pointing out where they live. And if you guys ever needed somewhere, a place to stay, come on over by us. I can't say how much more friendly they were than... I guess I misspoke that, but...
Yeah.
And they ordered food. We did not order food, but the food that they had smelled terrific, looked terrific.
Okay, so it's a restaurant too. It's not just a bar. It's a bar and restaurant. They serve like
Correct.
tapas. What do they serve? Just regular food.
I didn't look
You
at that
don't-
part.
We
of the
only
menu.
looked at the drink
All
menu.
right.
I also know they do like a brunch on Sundays, but we weren't there on Sundays.
All right.
so
Well,
I
just
can't tell you that either.
I'll have a link to them in the website. Just go to PuertoVallartaTravelShow.com. Go to this episode, and you will find a link to Bon Bon, or just spell it out yourself. Bon Bon Puerto Vallarta. I'm sure you can find it. How about what else? What else you got?
The one place that we stopped at that we had a great experience also was the Seahorse. It's on the Malecon, over by the Arches where the Starbucks is. We didn't have any food there. We were going there just for Solo the Sunset, and it has been quite a bit talked about on Facebook and other social media about how good their food is. I can't say that, but their drinks were really, really good. Jorge and Francesco, I believe. Fernando. Talk with us. There's some of the guys that are I would call them managers, and they came over by our table. We talked back and forth about drinks, and it was a great experience.
All right. Now this place, I'm trying to remember what that used to be. It used to be Bistro Teresa or something like that.
You know what? It was closed for a while for me that I remember. We were staying in a condo in February. We were staying at a condo that was basically kitty corner to it. And on the roof and the pool, we were watching them fix it up. So we knew that we wanted to go back. Sherry had found them on Facebook. A month or so later, we were back here after a couple of months. So we definitely wanted to go check them out.
Great.
Excellent.
All right. Well, I got to get up there. Maybe I'll...
Great place to watch the sunset.
Yeah?
Yep. And I think they'd be really happy to talk to you, Barry.
Really? All right. I'll get them on the show. Make them talk. I'll make them swallow a microphone. Any others?
Elixir.
Yeah, that's on a rooftop, but I'll tell you right now, for me, I'm always going to go to Twisted Palms for mixed drinks, and I'm always going to go over and go to, now I'm going to go to Elixir. They treated us awesome, and their drinks were off the chart right now. One of the ones I really, really, really like.
Okay, so Elixir is where? Where is that?
Paseo Badillo, up past Nacho Daddy and that area.
Okay.
I would say it was probably on the north side of the street. I don't remember the cross street. I really don't. It was at night.
Okay.
We got out of there quite late. They had a DJ going that night, but it was a lot of fun. And they had a lot of classic drinks, and they had a lot of drinks that I would call Sherry's favorite.
Yes. Very
Yeah.
good.
What are your favorites?
Oh my gosh. I don't remember the name of the drink, but they put some fresh cinnamon on the top, and it was good. It was I like my sweet drinks.
Yeah.
And it was very good.
You like the girly drinks.
Yes.
That's right. I like that too. I know what you mean.
If we're going to talk about cocktails right now, Tuesday nights is Tiki Tuesday at Twisted Palms, and
Which is still our favorite, Twisted Palms.
Yeah.
And I got to tell you right now, for him, when people talk about tiki drinks, they're thinking about really sweet drinks like from the 70s. This is more that 1930s, 1940s styles of Beach Bum Berry, Trader Vic, all that, and I really dig those drinks right now. They're
Again,
good.
what that is, even the presentation, the pina colada comes in a seashell with a fresh flower, and he does a great job.
Wow. Yes, he does. Up at the Twisted Palms.
Twisted Palms, Don Beachcomber, that's the other word I was saying. That's old. Don Beachcomber.
Yes, down to the Beachcomber. Absolutely. Now, what are you going to do? I hear you're planning to go partake in some Roger food, some prime rib.
We're not going to do the prime rib there because we didn't make reservations. We'll eat at El Rio. So tomorrow we will go to El Rio and watch the geckos eat food at El Rio. We love it there. And then after they're done, we'll go up the hill just around the corner in Paso Ancho and hit Irma's, and then listen to Red Suitcases and basically have cocktails and then Uber home. And if you guys haven't used Uber before, it is super, super simple here. I can't say enough good things about it. They pick you up, they drop you off. It's fair, it's clean, safe, I guess, is the other thing I can say when you're talking about COVID and everything else. I can't say enough good things about it. We use it exclusively here nowadays, after years of being here.
And you don't have to reach for pesos.
No,
It's
not at all.
done.
You know exactly what it is. You tip the guy. Everything works out great.
Yeah, absolutely. And, you seem to, I seem to be feeling that the taxi drivers have gotten used to the fact that there's Ubers around here, and there's not a whole lot of animosity like we had earlier.
You've had a couple of them
When this all
that'll say
started.
something, but I got to be honest, we've had no problems whatsoever with that.
Yeah, excellent. Well, is there anything else you want to share? Where are you guys staying this time? You staying in the same place that you normally do?
At the Vista del Sol.
Vista del Sol. Nice.
A quick little beach bar, Red Onion.
Oh yeah, Cebolla Rojo.
Really?
That's
Oh,
where we
yeah.
watch the sunset quite a bit. Rosa there.
We love that
knows us
place.
as soon as we show up. She's like, "Welcome back, guys. Come on in." They treat us like we're home. I mean,
All right. So
you
who are
can't
the
see-
people? Who are the people that run that place?
I'm not sure who runs it, but Rosa is the woman that takes care of us there, and she is awesome. They're closed on Mondays, but otherwise,
Correct.
it's a place to go over and watch the sunset for us if we're not going to watch it from the condo.
Do they serve food there?
They do.
Okay. All right.
We've never eaten there. Again, just drinks.
Just drinks. All right. Well,
You see the theme going on here,
there's
Barry, right?
There's a certain theme. Yes. I mean, where do you actually eat? I mean, where do you eat?
So, I mean, well, here at Nacho Daddy, it's one of our favorite places. Figueroa's is still one of our favorite places. We try a lot of places. I've never been to the Cafe Bohemio. We went on this trip. It was great. We
Yeah.
took some friends with us that were there in the condo with us, and they had never been there. And they're like, "This place is great." And they were talking all about it. And
Very
it
inexpensive.
was very fair price. Saul treated us awesome while we were there.
Yeah.
you know?
He's a character. Saul is great. Did he sing for you?
No, nobody was singing. We were just there to have a little bit of food before we watch the sunset, because you can run right down to the ocean front.
Yeah.
Maybe hit Blondie's quick. You never can tell.
No. You got to get yourself a nice little Slurpee from Blondie's. Can't miss that.
I guess the one thing I'll add is the COVID test when you leave.
Yeah.
Last time around, and we're going to do the same thing because it was easier, is we just Ubered over to the airport a day or two before we left because you got 72 hours. We did it right at the airport. Now there's some places in town, and you're going to know more than that. You probably got a list of where you can go, but for us, we just knew it was like a slam dunk. We knew in February when everything had changed that was the place to go. So we went there. There was people there like 2 hours to go, and they were getting their COVID test. I would never cut it that short. And they had children. I mean, like 4 kids.
Oh my gosh.
But we got there, and after that, we walked down to the marina. We stopped at Cerveceria Chapultepec.
Oh, okay.
I'm not sure. I got the list there. Yeah.
So it's Cerveceria Chapultepec.
Yeah, that's it.
Okay.
And it was just a place. Thank you very much. I have a
No
hell of a time with
problema.
that. But we went there, had some beers. Sherry had like a wild bear mojito. We had a little bit of food. We waited for our email to come and say, "Hey, you guys have gone over and got negative on the COVID test," and we just took an Uber right back to our place, and it was super, super easy. So anybody that's holding back on that, there's plenty of videos on YouTube, but I can tell you, going through it, it was no big deal.
It was no big deal. All right. Well, that's great to know. Now, did you take the antigen test or did you take the PCR test?
I took the cheap one.
The antigen test. And did they shove it way up your nose or just partly up your nose?
I've done so many of them because of the fire department. It doesn't even bother me anymore. I'll ask Sherry to go
What
over
do you
and
think,
answer that
Sherry?
one.
Oh, it wasn't as bad as I had worked myself up that it was going to be. It wasn't bad at all.
Okay. All right. Yeah. Because I know. Yeah. You probably you probably are a little pincushion for this thing,
Yes,
aren't you?
yes.
You're
Yeah,
lucky
it wasn't
guy.
bad at all.
Okay. All right. Excellent. All right. And so it comes in the email, and I understand that a lot of people are taking it if it's on their phone, and they'll take a picture, screenshot it, so that they can access it easily when they go to the airport. So.
We fly Southwest. We showed up. There was a guy that was right in front of the line as we were trying to go over and check our luggage and check in and all that stuff like that. He literally took a look at each one of our phones and said, "Move on." When we went upstairs, there was some paperwork to fill out. I don't remember exactly how that all worked out because Sherry helped me out with it. And we just moved on and flew back to the United States. There was no problem whatsoever.
There was like a link you could download, or there were paper copies that you could fill out.
Okay.
So
Now, when you got back to Wisconsin, did they tell you had to shelter in place for 10 days or
Absolutely
whatever?
not. They wanted us back to work as soon as possible.
I love that. Yeah. Well, is there anything else you want to add? Anything else new and interesting that you want to share with us?
Monzon's got great beers right now.
Oh, yeah?
Don't miss
Oh,
it.
yeah.
Don't miss it.
Okay. All
They
right.
just released a sour, which is right up my alley
Uh-huh.
for the summer.
I got to head over there.
It's good.
All right. And they have food. I know that. I
Yes,
know that. Yeah.
and they have good food.
Yeah, they do. Yeah, they do. They've got good bar food.
We had a good time. We headed over to Cinco de Sembre for a day and just walked around, hit a bunch of places, and Menno's place, Traviata, a couple other places. They're all rooftops that we just wanted to go check out. Mama Huamba. They were all great to go over and check out. It was a great just walk around for the day. If you want to put some steps down and check some places out, I would head over there for something just a little bit different if you're staying in Old Town.
Yeah,
That's my advice. That's all.
They
My
got
2
some great.
cents.
They got some great restaurants up in Cinco de Diciembre.
It feels like Old Town 15 years ago.
Right, it does, doesn't it?
Watch for the sidewalks. Watch for traffic. Head on over.
And they're building buildings. Watch for the construction too. They got some of that happening
Versailles
too.
is really building up, and I'm sad to see that go away. But that's the way life is, man.
Yeah.
Progress.
That is progress. It says here in small print.
Yep.
Well, Sherry and Ray, thanks so much for coming back on the show, and I'm so happy to see so many of my friends here in May. It's wonderful. It's great.
I guess the one thing I want to say to you, Barry, is I usually don't do interviews, but I came back even a second time because I really do appreciate the things you do. I don't miss your podcast. It always just keeps me here when I'm not here. So thank you.
Thank you. I appreciate that. So look who we have here. We've got Marty and Janine. Thank you so much for coming and joining us today.
Great to be back.
We love it here.
Oh man, I got to tell you, it's actually been quite a nice meet and greet here over at Nacho Daddy. It's our first one of those here. So I want to thank all the folks over at Nacho Daddy for making us feel comfortable. And I don't know, maybe I'll track down Tammy and see if she wants to talk to me too. Hey, Marty, and I know all you listeners, you have heard Marty's letters and emails and all these great tips and advice, and I just want to thank you right now, right in person, on the air. Right
Okay,
now.
just thank you very much, and send money.
Oh, wait a minute now. Wait a minute. You know, you're talking on a machine that I had to pay to get back for ransom. I want you to know that right now. So I do. I sent money, but it was to somebody else. So tell us about where you're staying, what's going on, what's happening.
Well, we're staying at one of the finer private condominium complexes in Puerto Vallarta at the Plaza Mar, just a few blocks from here, and been there for several years. Enjoy it. Got down here a couple weeks ago. We were down here in December, coming back next December. So yeah.
Excellent. Yay. All right. Look at you guys. So you've been down twice now during the pandemic.
Yes.
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 We got one week canceled out, or one trip canceled out in March, I guess it was. We couldn't put that one through, but yeah.
Excellent. All right. So how are you finding it? How are you finding Vallarta during the pandemic? Are they taking it lightly? Or are they taking it seriously here?
We have felt very safe. We're being smart, wearing the mask inside, but everyone seems to be doing very well.
Yeah. You ever feel you were in a spot that was a little bit tricky, or?
I don't think so. Not down here, anyway. Of course, the first thing is there's not a lot of people down here right now.
Yeah.
You know, right? You can fire cannons down the street and not hit too many people, which is about right for this time of year too. But you know, it's a little bit on the warm side. But no, we have not seen as many people, and by and large, when you go into a place, you know, then you got a different protocol to take care of, and we do. When you're out on the street, you know, you're out in the open air.
We got lots of open air here in Puerto Vallarta. Things have been opening and closing around here. Do you have any news for us? Maybe closed places, maybe open places, maybe new places that you've tried out?
The places we go to are still open. We haven't seen too many of them change. We've seen a lot of places that have been closed, but we've really not. Those weren't on our list.
We go to our very favorite places always.
Yeah. All right. So your favorite places are?
We've got a spreadsheet that she keeps.
All the restaurants we
Overkill.
love when they're open, cash or check, what our favorite dishes are, what their hours are. We have it all.
You know it all.
We love it. We love our favorites, our Bravos, Siam, and Poblanos.
Those are, and they're all
Those
owned
are
by
the
the
three.
same guy.
Yes, Michael. And we love Mi Cafe. help me here.
Tell me about Poblanos. That's new.
Poblanos is his third restaurant he opened. It's I believe he has 2 locations now, but one of them is right below us on Lázaro Cárdenas. It's a light fare. It's not a very, no tablecloths or anything else. Very good food, very typical. Michael does a good job because he comes up with a menu and tests it out pretty good. And there's nothing on there that you couldn't eat and be proud of. It's really good.
Nice. Yeah, excellent. So Poblanos is mostly, it's like Mexican fare?
Yes.
Okay.
Breakfast and lunch.
Breakfast and lunch. So yeah, you can actually hit those 3 restaurants and make a day out of it.
You would eat an awful lot if you did that.
We do not eat 3 meals a day.
No?
No.
Okay, that's the secret? Is that the secret to keeping fit and healthy like this?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
All right, excellent. All right. Remember that, you guys. You don't have to eat every day, all day.
And many times you have leftovers you can have for lunch the next day in the condo.
Yes, absolutely.
Because the helpings are very generous.
Now, you sent me an email talking about maybe mixing things up next time and flying into Mexico City or crossing the border or Tijuana.
When we plan our trips, I've got I check every day flights on United and American because they're the only ones that do a direct flight out of O'Hare down to Vallarta. But this last year, I started seeing some cheaper flights going out to California. And I said, okay, how much if I take a flight from O'Hare to California, in particular San Diego, and then go to Tijuana and do the express that that somebody else I know here at this table.
Yeah, Janine's looking at me. You're going, I'm not doing that.
And so I started looking at it from a cost standpoint. And again, we fly. I think our flight down here this time was like $800, which is ridiculous.
Yeah, it's a lot.
From Chicago to Vallarta. From Chicago to San Diego, it was $140. I don't remember. $20 bus ride from there to the airport in Tijuana, and then another $100 and few dollars down to Vallarta, and it was very inexpensive. And you could do it in one day.
Yeah.
Now, the only problem is I didn't like relying upon that bus. That's another third party and an unknown going across the border, and don't want to miss the flight. So I said, that's probably not a good option right now for us.
Right.
So I said, okay, as much as I don't like Mexico City, let me try that, see what that option was. And so we went down. I figured out the cost from Chicago to Mexico City, and it was, again, $114, something really reasonable. I couldn't make a connection, so we would have to stay overnight. Holiday Inn right at the airport was $40. Next day, you take some third world country airline, Viva Airbus or something. I don't remember what it was. Evidently, it's reliable because they fly, and it was very inexpensive. And a friend of ours told us to be sure to stay in Mexico City more because there's a lot to see and do. And we've been in Mexico City, but it's 1967.
Oh my gosh!
And you were probably still rocking out in the cradle.
Yeah, that's right.
But we were not impressed with how dirty it was, and I've heard that it's a dangerous city, but now I've been told it's cleaned up and it's a good place to go visit. So I'd like to go back there because I know that historically there's some super things to see in Mexico City, and maybe come down here for 2 out of 3 weeks or something. We're also thinking about taking the railroad, the Copper Canyon Railroad, and putting that with a trip in down here. So we're looking at some options next year.
Okay, well, that sounds very adventurous. Right, Janine?
That's correct.
You should see Janine. She's going like this. She's shaking her head. I'm not doing that. I'm not doing that.
The Tijuana is what shook my head.
Oh, come on. You heard my Tijuana story. That's probably what it was. It just drove you away. Things have changed.
I was in Tijuana in 1967.
Oh, well. I've been there a couple more times than that, but we won't talk about that. What else is happening? Anything else new? Anything else you want to add?
What we tell people is we come down here and absolutely do nothing. And that's, for us, is relaxing. We're not retired. I still work for a little bit, which means I get to handle some papers once in a while. But down here I do nothing except look at the internet do my work from here. And otherwise, it's nothing.
Yeah.
And we just enjoy that.
And you've got a great place over at the Plaza Mar to just relax, and you can take Vallarta in from where you are. which is really cool.
Last December when we were here, we saw whales out our balcony over the in the ocean there, and this week we saw some
Dolphins.
Dolphins. We had a couple of pods of dolphins out there, so yeah, it's exciting.
It is, if you take some time and actually gaze at the sea for a little while, you will actually see some of that wildlife, sea life, or something like that, whatever they call that, mammalish things. Well, that's great, and I would love to be able to come here and do absolutely nothing too, but no, I wouldn't. No, it wouldn't be any fun. This is a whole lot more fun just talking with you guys. Anything else you want to add?
You ask, we'll answer.
All right. Well, let me think here. I got. I don't know. Do you, when you go out to eat? I mean, obviously you talked about these 3 places, but if you were going to go out to get a fish, some seafood dinner, where would you go?
I'd be the one. She doesn't really care for seafood. I usually don't pick a place for just seafood, but if I would, I'd probably go to Langostino's. I really like their fish. Had a red snapper there last year, and I've had fish tacos there. They're really good.
Okay, all right. What about a steak? Where would you go for a steak?
I don't come to Mexico to have a steak.
Okay.
However, I will tell you that the hamburgers down here, no matter where you get them, are excellent. They use a different type of a ground beef than we're used to. Our grocery store beef is 70-30 or 80-20. I don't know what their hamburger is down here, but it's very, very good. And I think everybody that makes hamburgers down here are half-pounders. I mean, it's enough for 2 people.
Yeah.
But their hamburgers are good. We just had a hamburger. I had a hamburger here tonight. I could hardly finish it. Of course, Derby City has got great hamburgers. Places right along the beach, right across the plaza from the Plaza Mar, their hamburgers are good.
Oh, that's Burroughs Bar?
Burroughs Bar, yeah.
Yeah. Interesting.
It's amazing.
Yeah. All right. Well, that's if you're a burger nut.
Yeah, but I've never really ordered a steak per se, because I said I don't come to Mexico to buy steak.
Yeah. Well, the last couple of times that I ordered steak, I was probably a wrong thing to do too. But we won't go there. So, what about if you had a friend that was going to be coming to Puerto Vallarta and he'd never been there or she had never been there, but you only had one place to take them to show them the town, where would you take them?
I would take them over to Nacho Daddy's meet and greet so they could see JR. I said they'd go back, and they wouldn't believe that. Well, I think the biggest thing, if they had a day, I would probably just walk them down to Malecon and point out things for them to go see on their own, and tell them that, first of all, don't be afraid to go up and talk to people. And it doesn't matter. If you want to spend money, everybody speaks English. If you want to have fun, you got to know just a little bit of Spanish. But anybody will help you out. It's like we'll go into a store, I go to talk to a policeman on the corner sometime, and someone will say, "Hey, don't you realize that guy's got a gun?" I said, "Yeah, our police back home have guns too." I think we're glad of that. These people love being talked to, and it's fun. It's fun to strike up a conversation.
I recommend they come down to Old Town and see Tile Park. It's beautiful. Every time we come, it's more expansive, and we're happy to have a tile in the park. And we have 2 tiles now.
You do?
But our friends don't know about the other one. They do now. But it's beautiful.
Yes. Excellent. Yeah. And Natasha's still out there
Yes,
working on
she
it.
is.
And it's amazing. It's amazing that they're like single-handling it right now.
Well, she
It's
said
amazing.
that they usually have so many Canadians that are volunteers, and now they can't come, or they don't come.
Right.
And so she has very few volunteers.
So she needs American volunteers.
She needs lots of volunteers.
Do you hear that, Americans? Right? Don't let the people from Canada outdo you guys. You are you listening? Go talk to Natasha. Help her out in the park. Come on. That's great. I love that. Well, you guys, I want to thank you. Thanks again for coming on the show. And really, it's so great to see you guys here in May. I'm so happy to see so many of my friends here. Thanks for
And we're
coming.
proud to wear your shirts.
Yay! And you're wearing my shirts too. I'll get a picture.
And
of you
I
guys
forgot
in
to
the
bring
shirts.
my tequila glasses down. That you have a copy of my tequila glasses.
Oh.
I wanted to show everybody those things. But do you have one? Don't you? I think Jeff has one too.
Yeah, does he?
Yeah. But we always have a lot of fun with that.
Special design.
That's the other thing I have fun is watching people down here going to these tequila bars for tasting.
Yeah.
I enjoy watching people doing that. That's great entertainment. I don't know what's more fun, watching them or watching these people trying to teach people how to drink tequila. But I kind of consider myself a tequila snob, but it's really entertaining.
I should say so. Well, I'm going to be joining the tequila snob sometime soon. I got to tell you that right now. Marty, Janine, thank you so much for coming on again.
Thank you.
And it would not be a complete meet and greet without Jeff Musto. Jeff, how you doing? It's the PV Kid.
Doing great. How you doing, Barry?
I am doing fantastic. So, man, this must have been kind of an interesting time for you, having rental places, and I imagine that you had some craziness going on with cancellations and whatnot. Yes,
It was very crazy time for me. Different than most people think that all the cancellations, you're suffering financially and things like that, and yes, that was part of it. But the biggest problem was people plan for their once-a-year vacation, and then it's canceled or they can't come, and they're very worried about their money and their deposit and what's going to happen. And I was on the phone, almost all day, every day, just settling people down and telling them that their deposits were safe and we'll rebook them again next year. And it was just a very, very, very stressful time.
Wow,
not only for the people, but for me trying to help them out and make them feel comfortable that their money wasn't lost.
Yeah, and that's something to remember, you guys. I mean, there probably were people that did not get their money back, and when you're dealing with somebody who has a reputation to uphold, like Jeff's going to be taking care of you.
Yeah, I did my best.
Yeah.
Like I said, it was stressful, but I would say 99% of the people were happy of the outcome.
Excellent. All right, cool. So talk to us a little bit about the Plaza Mar. What's going on there?
Well, Plaza Mar is still going strong, but I have some news. I took over 25 condos at Vista del Sol this year.
Wow, really? Ooh.
So in addition to the 21 condos at Plaza Mar, I'm representing 25 condos at Vista del Sol, and I've dropped a lot of my other small condos around town just to concentrate on those two beachfront condos. And it's been a very exciting year because I've had to learn the condos, see what they're like. I've had to meet the owners and deal with different owners and different rules they have and things like that. And it's been very, very interesting. All been good.
That's good.
And I have a whole new group of clients now that I've inherited, and all is good.
Oh, wow. That is totally cool. So can I link that up then? Well, you've got that obviously on the PV
right.
Kids site.
Right on pvkid.com website. If you want to put it in your notes, I can send that to you. Not a problem.
Yeah, no, I'll have it in the show notes for sure. You know where to go for it, www.puertovallartatravelshow.com. And I'll have Jeff Musto's smiling face. I'll have some pictures of these two properties that he is having some control over, some fun over. I like that. That's really cool. Well, talk to us about that. Talk to us about Vista del Sol.
Vista del Sol is a little bit bigger property than Plaza Mar. I believe there's 110 units in Vista del Sol, where Plaza Mar has only 33. So Plaza Mar is more of a boutique type building, and Vista del Sol is more, I say it has more of a commercial feel, but it's still a very nice building. I think in Vista del Sol, the units have more of the Mexican decor, where at Plaza Mar, most of the units have been remodeled and have more of a modern feel to them. Mm-hmm. So there's a little bit for everybody there. Some people like one way, and some people like it the other way.
Okay. All right. So your love affair with the Plaza Mar is still around, though. You're okay
sure.
there?
Sure. I still own a condo in Plaza Mar.
Uh-huh.
It's been 26 years now. Yeah. And, Plaza Mar was my baby. So, and it still is.
So you have been spending a whole lot more time here in Vallarta. You were doing a lot of traveling. Of course, you're in the airline business, so that took a big hit.
It did, and I actually retired from the airlines last August 1st, I guess.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Well.
So I'm officially retired from Delta Airlines, but even before that, for the past 7 to 8 years, I've been spending 7 or 8 months down here in Puerto Vallarta.
So talk to us about some new places. You got some new restaurants that you can maybe talk to us about, or?
Last time I talked to you about my new favorite restaurant, I couldn't get in anymore to go eat there.
Oh yeah, well that happens. That happens on this show.
So I'm going to share with you a place, a very small place. It's called La Fina.
Okay.
It's very close to where JR lives, and it's a very small, family-run place with very gourmet-type food at a very reasonable price.
All right.
And it's my new favorite place here in Puerto Vallarta.
Nice. La Fina. And
La
you
Fina.
said, now, where is it located? When you say it's near JR's place, is it over in Colonia,
It
El
is.
Coloso?
It is in Coloso. You would go straight up Lazaro Cardenas until it ends and take a left, and it's about a block on your left side.
Mm-hmm. Very good. Yeah, I've walked past it a couple of times on the way over to JR's place, and I recognized it, and I said, wow, this is interesting. They got a new fancy place in the barrio. Man, look at that. Yeah. You've never been there? Oh, I'm going to take you out there then, JR. I'll take you out. You just have make sure that don't wear shorts. Okay. All right. Any other things that you want to share with us?
Well, let's see. There's many new restaurants over in the Versailles area. There's, I think they're calling it the Gastronomic Tour over there.
Yeah, I bet. Yeah.
There's Barrio Bistro. There's a new Italian restaurant next to that. I forget the name of that right now. There's a very fancy cocktail bar on the corner right by Barrio Bistro.
Barrio Bistro.
Very many new restaurants over in that area.
Yeah, definitely. It looks like the band is getting ready to play. So, yeah, no, it's okay. It's all right. Sorry. We're good. So, all right.
We got 5
They were
minutes.
just kidding. That was the 5-minute warning, right? All right. Well, that's cool. All right. So, yeah, Versailles is totally exploded. You're talking about La La Lu, right? The one that's next door to
Exactly.
to Barrio Bistro,
yeah.
and that's also owned by the same. They're the same group. How about condos? How about the buildings around here? Have you been watching what's going on as far as the buildings?
It's been
These new
exploding,
condos?
as everybody can see. Every street corner, they're tearing down an old building and putting up a new condo building. It's been exploding. There's new condos everywhere in town. Everywhere.
Yeah, and they're tearing up the streets everywhere too right now. So that I guess for the for drainage
For the infrastructure, yeah.
So
Yeah. Here in Mexico, they do it backwards. They put the buildings up first and then build the infrastructure.
Yeah.
Where in the United States, they build the infrastructure first and then let the buildings go up.
Yeah, interesting. Yeah, well, when in Mexico, this is how it's done.
Exactly.
Well, is there anything else you wanted to share with listeners today?
Well, I just want to invite everybody back to Mexico. Don't listen to what you hear on your news station. It's garbage. I mean, down here in Mexico, everybody's open. Everybody's waiting for you. Masks are required, but that's not a bad thing. And come on back to Mexico. We're waiting.
Excelente. Me too. Thanks, Jeff. You're all right.
Thanks, Barry.
All right. Thank you very much, each and every one of you that came to share with us. Now, Kristen Gilbert mentioned the shows and the theater, and they are right. Actually, while I was in town, I was invited by Marsha Blondin to go and see Lady Gaga, the Lady Gaga show over at the Palm. It was great. It was intimate. There was terrific singing. The music was really good. It was decent audio. God, I hope they I hope they lose all that plastic. They've got these little plastic, separators. They got to lose that. But anyway, the rooftop bars and the restaurants that Ray and Sherry mentioned, you got to check those out. They are beautiful. I've got some pictures of those restaurants in the show notes. You wanna go and check some of those out. Of course, I've got links to all of those great places, all those great bars that Ray and Sherry talked about. They know their drinks. They know they're really good bars in the area. So check those out for sure. And that restaurant suggestion from the PV kid, La Fina. Okay. Well, I took my buddy Anastasio and his girl out to La Fina over in El Coloso, and Jeff is absolutely right. The food is delicious. It is gourmet Mexican food in the barrio. So you got to go. I have pictures of the menu and of some of the dishes that we ordered. The food is amazing, and thank you, Jeff. You'll never get a reservation in that restaurant again. Sorry. All right, well, that should do it for this week. Next week, I want you to stay tuned for more on-the-ground reports from Puerto Vallarta, Mexico, with travel tips, great restaurant and excursion ideas, and more. But until then, remember that this is an interactive show where I depend on your questions and your suggestions about all things Puerto Vallarta. If you think of something that I should be talking about, well, please reach out to me by clicking on the Contact Us tab and sending us your message. And remember, if you're considering booking any type of tour while you're in Puerto Vallarta, you must go to vallartainfo.com. That's JR's website. Make sure you reserve your tour through him, right from his website. Remember, this is a value-for-value proposition. His experience and on-the-ground knowledge of everything's Puerto Vallarta in exchange for your making a purchase of a tour that you would do anyway. You're just doing it through him as a way of saying thank you. Thanks, JR, for being our guide. It costs no more than if you're going to use someone else, so do it, really. And when you do take one of these tours, email me about your experiences. Maybe you can come on board and share with others what you liked or didn't like about the tour. Again, contact me by clicking on the Contact Us tab and sending off a message. And don't forget, he's got his maps, his DIY tours, and his revitalized happy hour board, and more. I have links to all of those in the show notes. And once again, if you like the podcast, please take the time and subscribe and give me a good review on iTunes, if you would, or wherever you happen to be listening to this podcast. That way we can get more, information out to more people about the magic of this place, Puerto Vallarta, Mexico. Remember, I made it easy for you to do just that with every episode I create. And if you haven't been to my website, you really need to have a look there. I have links to the places we talk about, interesting pictures, and more right there in the blog posts and in the show notes for each episode of that show. So check it out for sure if you haven't already. All right? All right. Thank you so much to all of my friends who joined in the fun over at JR's Meet and Greet and our Open Microphone podcast. Thank you, Chris and Gilbert. Thank you, Marty and Janine and Ray and Sherry and Jeff Musto. And thank you, JR. Thanks for allowing us to horn in on your meet and greet. And thank you to all of our friends over at Nacho Daddy for your kind hospitality, for having us over. We love you guys. And thanks to all of you for listening all the way through this episode of the Puerto Vallarta Travel Show. This is Barry Kessler signing off with a wish for you to slow down, be kind, and live the Vallarta lifestyle. Nos vemos, amigos.
Samba de Puerto Vallarta, noche de amor junto al mar. Solo camino eterno por la playa, me encuentro junto al río cuando todo está en calma. la noche, brillas Puerto Vallarta. Samba de Puerto Vallarta. Noche de arrullo del mar. Samba de Puerto Vallarta.